Once upon a time, an evil queen cast a powerful curse that trapped every single fairy tale character in our world. And then one day, the curse was broken by a savior, and then she had to face the final battle. And then the story reset with a grown up Henry about to leave on his own and fall in love with his own Cinderella. And now they have a daughter named Lucy, and they're cursed again. Not in Storybrooke, but Seattle this time. Well, now let me repeat this for Facebook. Once upon a time, an evil queen cast a powerful curse that trapped everyone in our world. Um, and then the curse was broken, and everyone lived happily ever after. Oh, it didn't record that part. Sorry, Facebook takes a second. But okay, here we go. Facebook people. Once upon a time, an evil queen cast a curse that trapped every single fairy tale character you ever known to our world. Only one knows the truth, and only one can break the spell. But then one day, a savior came, broke the curse. Everyone lived happily ever after, and the final battle was won. Now, it's all happening again. A generation later, Emma Swan, the savior, who had a son named Henry, is all grown up, and he has a daughter, Lucy, and another curse has been cast, and they have to do it all over again. A new curse, and a savior born to break it. Well, that's Henry now. So, anyway, welcome to our Once Upon a Time marathon. We're going to get started. Um, all right. Well, let's just get started, right? I mean, I started at 6:58 for a reason, so we're not wasting 10 minutes talking. So, all right. Let's get started. So, if you don't have your Disney Plus or DVD, I hope you have. I hope you just pause the pause the video and hurry and pull that up. Because I'm gonna push play in just a few seconds. In case you don't remember which episode we're on, season 7, episode 4. It's called Beauty. This is a Rumpelstiltskin episode, and we get to kind of see what happened between her and Belle. We kind of saw last week what happened between Emma and Hook. Emma and Hook are still living happily ever after. The new Hook is not married to Emma. This is a different version of Hook from the Wish Realm. He has a daughter named Alice, so now that clarifies everything. How could Hook live without Emma, right? He is still living with Emma. We just have another duplicate version of him that we're following. Now we have to explain why Belle's gone. So we're going to explain that and watch Rumpel's story, how he got to the new Enchant Forest and how he ended up in Seattle. It's going to explain all of that. So Beauty, season 7, episode 4. Timestamp is 43 minutes and 49 seconds if you have Disney Plus. We're gonna push play in 3. And when I say 0, everyone push play. 3, 2, 1, 0. Or Once Upon a Time episode. Belle is beautiful. I miss her. It's Gideon's first birthday. This was a year after he was stolen by the Black Fairy. This is a year after the final battle. Crazy. Man. Don't I wore my Storybrooke shirt today, guys. See? See? Remember how I didn't wear it last week? Mainly because we're not in Storybrooke anymore. I thought I'd stop wearing it for season 7. But then I realized, wait, we have Henry and Storybrooke at the very beginning. Then we get to see a flashback of Henry and Storybrooke again in episode 2. I'm like, the first couple episodes we get a little bit of Storybrooke just to kind of say goodbye. And and even right now, we are in Storybrooke with Rumple and Belle. Might as well wear it because we're not gonna get any Storybrooke references after this. So except the end of the series, spoiler alert. But anyway, um, but yeah, for a while we won't be in Storybrooke after this episode. So I mean, like this is the last time. I have a chance to wear it again, I guess, for season 7. I wish I had a Seattle shirt. I do not. Ah, and I'm not planning to go to Seattle till next year. So that's a year after this marathon ends. So we'll never have a Seattle shirt in this marathon. Hybrid Heights. I mean, I wonder if this is Hybrid Heights is a fictional street, but like I wonder if they ever made choice for that. They didn't really advertise season 7 very well, unfortunately. Alice and Rumple have a strong relationship with each other. It's not Halloween. It's we are just days after Mother's Day. What are you imagine if we were still on Sundays. This would have been the episode we watched on Mother's Day. Well, imagine Halloween on Mother's Day. That you never hear that combination ever. Maybe it's a good thing we moved to Thursdays. This aired the Friday before Halloween, so it makes sense that it's a Halloween episode, I guess. And when ABC put this on the air, but oh look at that! It's graveyards and pumpkin jack lanterns and Halloween signs and a web covering the entire Once Upon a Time title sequence. Halloween, what do you expect? Wow, Ivy, and we all know her name is really Drizella. Ah, the last thing she wants is to be in Jacinda's life, and her stepmother's kind of forcing her into it. I mean, we're still figuring that out. And Once Upon a Time, originally we found out that Regina cast the curse in the pilot, and it was pretty easy to know how they all got here. But in season 7, it doesn't make it clear on how they all got here. They try to keep that mystery for later in the season. And again, even in this episode, you would probably still think Lady Tremaine cast the curse because she's kind of in charge of the whole town, like Regina was when she was in Storybrooke. She's not the mayor, of course, but she kind of owns a lot of things. So Lady Tremaine was not the one who cast the curse, but this is what they wanted you to think at the beginning of this season. So Tilly. I mean, Lady Tremaine doesn't want anyone to wake up. She wants to keep everyone under the curse. So you would think because she's the one in charge and keeping the curse from being unbroken. You'd think she's the one who casted it. I mean, that was the case with Regina, but they're a little more twisted in this reboot. Careful where you tread, Belfry. Victoria Belfry. When I first watched the season on the air, I had a hard time memorizing the new character names because anyway, I was only used to the old ones. I even to this well, and I might know all their curse names now. Victoria Belfry, Lady Tremaine, Ivy, Drizella, Ronnie, Weaver, Rumple, and Regina. Henry is Henry. He never changed names. Officer Rogers, Captain Hook. I know them now, but like back when it first was on the air, I had a hard time keeping track of everyone's curse name because I'm used to their fairy tale name. And then I guess as far as the actors who play these characters, like Jennifer Goodwin, Josh Dallas, Alana Parrilla, or Robert Carlyle, Colin O'Donoghue. Um, when it, I guess up to this day, I'm still not. I can't tell you the actor who plays Lucy or Cinderella or Gisella. I never cared to memorize the actors of season 7. Season 7 is like the forgotten, uncared season. Well, it's not forgotten. People know it very well. It's just the uncared for season. Most people don't watch up all the way this far into the show. But some people who are huge fans and despite its flaws, stick tight till the end, and I did. I would have stick tight even if there was a season 8. But anyway, Henry, if you remember last week, Henry found the grave tombstones of his wife and daughter dead. And those are not his real wife and daughter dead. They're fake, of course, but that's the curse. But to Henry, they're real. So it's like losing them all over again, just seeing their graves. So, moving on doesn't mean we forget the dead. And if you love ones, right? You don't forget them. They're still part of us. Try to move on. You don't need to forget your loved ones. You just gotta remember them, but move on. Officer Rogers, Detective Weaver, champion of Lost Girls. Yeah, Officer Rogers is looking for a missing girl. Yeah, poor Weaver. He doesn't care about anyone, not even Tilly. But there was a time he cared about someone, and that's Belle and Gideon. Look, Belle has grown some white hair. Keep in mind that the writer said Henry was 47 in Seattle. So it's been about 30 years since the final battle. And in those 30 years, you can grow old. And look at Belle growing old over the 30 years. So cute. She's cute even at an old age. Well, she's not quite old. She's middle aged. She only has a little bit of white strand right there. It's mostly brown still. Ooh, see, it's only been 10 years since Gideon was born. Um, or 10 years since his 1 year birthday. So he's 11. Trying to think. Yeah, 11 means Henry is about 27, 28. He probably just owned Ella at that point. Yeah, Rumble's finally done with the dagger. And like he was done before. He wanted to get rid of it back in season 4, but he did it all in the wrong way and in an evil fashion. This time he wants to do it the right way. Get rid of his dark one powers. Um of course, no, they actually tried to get rid of the darkness in season 5, but that was wrong. But like there was also a time when he wanted to keep his power and get rid of the dagger. Remember the hat? That was back when Rumple was a villain, but now he's a hero trying to get rid of his power the right way and the dagger. Not keep the power, get rid of it, 'cause all that matters is Belle. He's learned his lesson in the final battle, obviously. That's good. No, and he's finally accepting his redemption arc and not throwing it all away this time, like he did in times past when he killed Pan and when he was not the Dark One temporarily, he kept throwing his redemption arc away. He threw it away like 3 times. Because again, he was going to be good in season 6, but then he threw it away because he lied about killing his mother. So that was the third time. Oh, Drusilla did not get invited to the Halloween ball. How sad. But yeah, Lucy's a stalker. She spies on her stepants. Because if Anastasia and Drusilla are Cinderella's stepsisters, that means they are also Lucy's step-aunts. So yeah. Wow. I used to think when Lucy did this, I thought she traded costumes with a random trick or treater, putting on the Elsa costume instead of her skeleton costume. But then you know, obviously rewatching it, I know it's not Lucy. She just begs a kid with candy to kind of pretend to be her until she's anyway. Lucy runs off while the other kid puts on the paper bag and tricks Gisela. Hey, look, it's little Alice in the background. How cute! Someone wearing an Alice dress, and then we got the actual Alice right here, the real Alice in Wonderland. There's a difference. You can tell the difference between someone in costume and the real character. She would not wear a blue and white dress in the real world. The troll does have a story. There's a flashback about the troll in the second half of the season, by the way. The troll bridge. It's a real thing. It's a real place in Seattle. But that bridge, Once Upon a Time makes its own story for that bridge. How or is it the beast? He's like Weaver, who's still cursed and doesn't remember who he is. He's like, "What beast? What are you talking about? The good man behind the cop? The good man behind the beast? What beast? He's the beast. I'm beating the beast. He's also the crocodile, and he's Rumpelstiltskin, and he's Carl Fregerson from Up. So many things. Belle's even older now. Look at that. Each time we go back to the flashback of what happened between Rumple and Belle, she gets more white hair. She ages quick in this episode. Wow. Wow. Gideon's all grown up. He's 18 and he's going to college in the fairy tale land. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know there was a fairy tale land out there with a college. We know they left Storybrooke, so it can't be the real world anymore. Mhm. Yeah, that's the thing about every parent is that they're not ready to let their child go. Their child's ready to leave. Unfortunately, you got the birds leave the nest. Gideon was only born like less than a season ago. Season 6, episode 9, season 7, episode 4. That's less than a season. That's 22 minus 5. That's only 17 episodes. That was only 17 episodes ago, and he's already grown up. Not the first time he grew up in season 6 as well, but then after the Black Fairy's defeat, he turned back into a baby and he's all grown up again. But it's more natural because we had a big, huge time jump of about 30 years. The Edge of Realms. That's a new fairy tale land we've never been to. Look, they're all dressed up as Incredibles from Pixar. Incredibles. Let me think. This came out in 2017. Yes, the Incredibles 2 came out in 2017, I think, or was it 2019? I thought it was 2019. I think the second movie did come out during this season, so they had to advertise it by putting background characters in costume. Henry is stumbling on his words. He can't seem to get to the point. He's like staggering and can't even talk. He's too nervous around Jacinda. Wonder how he was when he met Cinderella. He didn't act nervous. He acted brave. Every time when everyone's cursed, they're the opposite of themselves. Charming was not very good to Catherine or Snow, and that's the same thing with Henry here. He went from being brave on asking Ella out to being nervous to asking Jacinda out. Same person. Looks like, yep, Drizella's breaking the news that she lost. Hmm. Yeah, so Drizella broke the news to Ella. Or Jacinda. Sorry. Ivy, curse names here. Ivy broke the news to Jacinda that Lucy's missing, and they're like, we need to go find your flock, which is only Lucy. Anyway, I liked how she mentioned that. You know, Snow and Charming have two kids now because of Neil, Emma and Neil, and then Emma and Hook have a child. And if you count Henry as the stepson, Henry and unborn baby, that's two. Everyone has two children, so I would I think if there would have been a season 8, Ella and Henry should have another child, and Lucy should get a little brother or sister. Wow, Weaver betrayed his client. He betrayed his client, Tilly. He doesn't believe her. No one would believe your fairy tales, honestly, especially when you're mad and crazy. Yeah, Belle's waiting for you. Um, yep. Belle's waiting for you. You gotta break from this curse. You gotta wake up. Really? Whoa! You pull the brakes on the car and then you jump out the door when it's still in drive? Whoa! That's like a head injury risk. And if you're in the middle of a road, you could get ran over after jumping out. Never jump out of a car while it's driving and moving. Whoa. They're in the edge of rounds now, where time moves differently, and that would explain why Bill ages so quickly. Because even 30 years shouldn't be that old. Bill has even more white hair now. Wow. I would love an eternal sunny day. That'd be cool, except I need my sleep, even when the sun's up. In my sleep, I sleep when the sun's up usually. I need to be awake, that means, but I need sleep too. See, and old Rumpel would use the dagger and find a loophole, but, he's a reformed, repentant guy now, and when Belle requests him not to use the dagger to build a house, he won't use the dagger. He's gonna use his own hands. He's doing real human labor. He's not cheating by being the Dark One. He's doing real human labor. He's proving that he no longer wants to be immortal by building the house with their own hands. This looks exactly like the house from Up, don't you think? Rumple and Bill are just getting old. They're growing together. Wow. Spinning wheel. Rumple loves his spinning wheels. Decorating houses. Cool. He puts the dagger in a safe box. Good job. Oh, Rumple and Belle having the best of time. Wow. Imagine doing this with your loved ones. You never know how long it will last. So enjoy it while it goes. Anyway, time will run out. We all die eventually. So enjoy your time together while you can. Man, Belle's just getting older and older by the minute. She's probably in her late 60s, early 70s, maybe. Oh, Gideon came home from college. He graduated from college and he's moving away. Gideon, who was once the anti-savior to kill Emma, he's now a nice hero, son of Belle and Rumple. The Beauty and the Beast song. How many times have we heard that? It was in season 6. It was in season 4. The Beauty and the Beast song is well advertised in Beauty and the Beast. So advertised. The Disney version is so advertised in Once Upon a Time. Belle's probably in her 80s, sitting on a chair. She barely can handle it. She has a hard time walking because she's so old. The only thing, though, is is immortal and is forced to stay young. Imagine you're immortal and you have to watch your wife or spouse or husband grow without you. That's sad. And then they die without you because you're stuck on Earth. Unfortunately, you would never be together. Oh no. Belle has finally reached her death point. I cried the first time I watched this. Even my parents were like, "No, what happened to Belle?" Never have I seen a Disney princess grow old and die. Ever. They always stay young. Hey, there's Snow White. Speaking of princesses, someone's wearing a Snow White dress on Halloween. How ironic. Because our real Snow White has not appeared in the show since the final battle. She'll never come back again. Not in Seattle, at least. Drusilla and Henry are going to work together to find Lucy. Yeah, Drusilla, you're your own person. Don't do what your mother's doing. You're your own person. You don't have to follow your evil mother's footsteps, right? Without your mother's approval, I have no one. Oh, come on. You have you have many people in your life. Henry was alone. Unfinished manuscripts and unfinished books. He just couldn't write anything. And he was a Swift that's what made him get a Swift driver so he can still pay the bills. Yeah, I mean, he was scared, let's be honest. Henry was scared to ask Jacinda out. So he is kinda doing the scary thing. Drisella's gonna help him out so he can please Jacinda. Or I guess Ivy, sorry. I'm using their fairy tale names when they should be used by their curse names. Ivy's helping Henry out. Find find Lucy to please Lucinda. Oh, that's the teacup. That's Chip. That's Chip. The iconic Chip from Beauty and the Beast, you know? Looks like Rumple hid it in some kind of alleyway in Seattle. Or Tilly hid it, not Rumple. Tilly hid it. And Weaver he's trying to use it to get Weaver to remember Bell. Oh, Bell wasn't completely honest about the Edge of Realms when he was talking to Rumple all those years ago. Oh, plot twist, it wasn't the one in the sky, it was Belle. Belle was the sunset. Belle needed to die. Mhm. That's the thing, that's the way to get rid of the darkness, is you gotta believe love is powerful enough to outlast death, and it's kinda cool because we actually believe in that, we believe love to be eternal in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So, I mean, like, that's really good parallel, here, and, Rumpel needs to believe that his true love can last even beyond death if he wants to get rid of the darkness and his dark one powers. So, and, they thought it was the sun in the sky, but it was really Belle's life. And, the setting of the sun meant the end of Belle's life. Rumpel needed to love Belle even to the end. Pass the test, I'd say. Yeah, it's time to let Belle go. She needs to go to the afterlife, and you need to find a way to join her in the afterlife. Listen to the story like this. Once upon a time, I got the chills. I got the goosebumps watching this scene. That was season one when they first met in Rumpel's castle. Yep. Then Rumpel let her go. Yep. I know, it was sad when Rumpel let Belle go because then Regina faked her death. But then she came back. She didn't die. More than a few times, yes, even when Rumpel died. When they brought Rumpel back from the dead, Belle returned to him. They got married. They lived a great life. They even have a son, Gideon, together. Yeah, you let Belle go many a times. Yeah. Even when Belle sent Rumple across the town line. They came back to each other, they forgave each other for all the sins they made. Rumple remembers that story. Belle prophesies, "You will find a way to get rid of the dagger, and you will find a way to come back to Belle. You will find a way, Rumple. You'll find a way to come back to Belle." Belle promises this. You will find a way to come back to her, and you will get rid of the dagger. You won't have to be the Dark One any longer. That was so sad. Funeral tears are coming over a princess, a Disney princess life. This is the only princess we get to see grow old and die. They wanted to imitate the Pixar movie Up. Carl Ferguson and his wife Ellie. You remember them? Ellie died of old age. Carl Ferguson. Here's where the story separates. Carl Ferguson. I'm saying his name a little wrong, but anyway, Carl's his first name. Carl's grows old. Okay, but he's still alive after Ellie dies. That's different. Rumple is young and he's still alive when Belle dies. That's because he's immortal. That's a little different. Carlos was not immortal. He was close to death too. It is just his wife died first. And he didn't die, at least not in the movie. Tilly is being weird. It looks like Alice was awake. Tilly was awake this entire time and was trying to get Rumple to remember who he was. Maybe one shot in the bullet, maybe one shot in the in the heart will wake Rumple up. Because he can't die. When he realizes he's immortal and he can't die, that's when he'll wake up from the curse. Because being a normal person, if a criminal comes up to you and fires a gun and it hits your heart and it kills you, but then you wake up in the hospital a few days later when you should be dead because that's how bad the bullet hit you, you'll realize, oh yeah, I'm a fairy tale character because I would have been dead if I wasn't. That'll definitely wake you up. Oh, they're having Belle's funeral now. Sorry, I was being so inappropriate during that scene. I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. Gideon wants to be the dark one so Rumple could be with Belle. But we learned in season 6 that when Rumple gave the dagger to Belle, fire did not end well. Rumple's not going to make the same mistake with Gideon. Yeah, Rumple's a really changed person. This is when he ends up in the new Enchanted Forest, and he ran right into Alice. Alice is the guardian. That's what they're trying to tell you. Alice is the guardian. I don't want to see Alice, the dark one though. That would be crazy. She's kind of and Alice is known to be a crazy person, you know, where the world is upside down and things are topsy turvy. Um, yeah. And you're the guardian that Rumple's looking for. Because Rumple said he was going to go to the moment where the guardian is waiting for him, and he came right to Alice. That covers the flashback, so we know Belle died. That's what happened to her. At least it was Belle, not Emma. Oh look, there's the there's Belle as an angel from heaven kissing Rumple in his sleep. That's probably what woke him up. True love's kiss from the heaven. Yeah, that's what would wake me up too, because there's no way I would believe I'm immortal right now. And if I'm cursed to be a fairy tale character, that's what would wake me up to find out that a shot in the shot in the heart would not kill me. He like Roger said, he should be dead on all accounts, but he's immortal because he's the dark one. Yeah, Rumple did not ask for your opinion, so leave it alone. All because Rogers has no idea about this curse. He's still a regular person, but Rumple's awake and he doesn't want Tilly to go to jail for it. Tilly is now back under the sleeping curse because she ate her pills for killing Rumple, so she doesn't remember who she is anymore. But it was cool how Alice was temporarily awake just now, just to wake up Rumple. Probably gave herself good service to Belle to so that her husband remembers who she is. Because if I was a dead spouse and my wife did not remember who I was, that would be sad. So I'm glad I would thank Alice for bringing back the memories to my life, or in this case, to my Belle bringing back Belle thanking Alice for bringing back Rumple's memories. Alice being from Wonderland, Wonderland is known for being a chess game, so I mean, yeah, Alice loves chess. That would make sense. I'm gonna call her Tilly though, because she's not no longer awake. But Rumple is no longer Detective Weaver. An hour left of trick or treating. Halloween's almost over. What? Halloween in the middle of May. Yeah. See you around. Have it a cluckety cluck cluck day. Bye bye, Ivy. Henry, you were gonna ask Cinderella to a ball, and now the ball's over. I mean, you were gonna ask Jacinda to the ball. The ball's over. Oh well. Some other time. You can do a date some other time. It's not important. It's gone. Henry knows this, so he's not even gonna bring it up because he doesn't want to hurt Jacinda's feelings. See, oh man, I know their cursed names. I just have a hard time saying them. I like their fairy tale names better. Happy Halloween, man. Once Upon a Time has had so many Halloween episodes over the seasons. We had one in season 4, season 5, not really season 6, but 4, 5, not 3, not 2, not 1. Just okay, I guess only a few seasons. This is the plot twist. This for anyone who hasn't been paying attention. Who only says Deary? Rumpelstiltskin, which means he's awake. And if you haven't been paying attention, that this is just them doing one last effort to let the audience know that Rumple's awake. Now Victoria knows. She knows that her curse is not lasting very long and that people are starting to wake up. Rumple's the first one to be awake. I guess Alice was, but now that she's back under the curse, you can't say she's the first one anymore. And as of watching this show many, many times, Rumple stays awake. So we can officially say Rumple's the first one to wake up from the curse. But that doesn't account for the curse breaking because there's still other people asleep. We got to wake them up. But what's cool about season 1 is that no one woke up until the season finale, right? And everyone woke up at once. Season 7 does the opposite. Where yes, not everyone's awake till the end of the season, but they wake up people one by one. So as we go throughout the show, every episode we watch, a new person wakes up one by one, and by the end of the season, everyone will be up. That's how the season kinda. So now, Henry's thanking Ivy for helping him find, Jacinda's daughter, Lucy, and they're celebrating over a drink in Ronnie's bar. Um, if word gets out, Henry, Jacinda might not wanna go on a date with you. Obviously, Ivy invited Henry to drink with her until she's ready to face her mother, which is fine, but people might mistaken that with you having interest in her. I mean, there are an Ivy Henry ship out there. People have preferred Henry being with Ivy. They did not like the Cinderella. I could understand that. I think it would make a better story if Henry fell in love with the sister instead of Cinderella. I know it's Disney like to fall in love with Cinderella, but we all know Once Upon a Time is a little different than Disney classic cartoon Disney movies. It's a little different. It's a little more brutal and it's a little more grim like. So I'm like, why can't the Prince Charming or Henry marry the stepsister? Like that would be a great twist to a Cinderella story in my opinion. I think that's what they should have done. Now obviously I probably wouldn't have Cinderella go with the prince either, but Henry was technically not a prince, um, but he is royalty. So anyway, because he's the grandson of Snoring Charming, so that makes him a prince in somewhat. But like we saw at the beginning of season 7, Cinderella was going to the ball to be with the prince, and plot twist, she was there to kill the prince. That was great, but I think a better story would have Cinderella go to the ball. Henry goes to the ball, falls in love with the stepsister, who's trying to win the prince's hand, but ends up changing her mind and marries Henry, and then yes, maybe Cinderella can go to the ball to kill the prince. Um, however, she decides not to, and she doesn't even fall in love with the prince either, because that would still keep the same story alive. But yeah, let's have our main character marry one of the stepsisters instead. That probably would have been better, in my opinion. I don't care what they would, you can have Cinderella. I don't care what you do with her. Just have Henry marry Drizella. They said most people think Henry has a better chemistry with Drizella than he does with Cinderella. So I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, I even was kind of, well, I knew when the curse was broken, he was going to go back to Cinderella, but like, while the curse was still unbroken, I was kind of hoping that he would have a relationship with Ivy and fall in love with Ivy, who's Drizella. Anyway, yeah, it would be fun. It would be another Catherine Nolan situation. It would be when Prince Charming was married to Catherine in The Curse, but he really loves Snow White, right? Have that happen. Except Henry's not married to Gisela. He just chooses to marry her during The Curse. That probably would have been cool. Then we would have the same situation because then once the curse is broken, he would have to get a divorce so he can go back with his real wife. Anyway, maybe that would be a little too messy. Maybe it's a good thing they didn't do that. But anyway, this is why I'm referring to maybe in the beginning he should have never been with Cinderella, because when we saw Lucy and Henry at the end of season 6, we didn't know who the mother was. They could have made it someone else before they started filming season 7. So anyway, next episode. Sorry, I'm just talking your ears off. Next episode is called Greenbacks, season 7, episode 5. Rumple's mission. Now we know his mission for the season. His mission by the end of the series and season is to die and be reunited with Belle. He's tired of living an immortal life. He wants to go to the afterlife and be with Belle. He's tired of living on Earth. He wants to move on, but he can't because he's the Dark One. But he also doesn't want to make someone else the Dark One. So, he has to do it the right way. He has to be a hero. And so, in order to do things the right way and not turn to darkness, in order to turn to the light, he has to let Belle die on her own and then find the guardian, of darkness to help him reunite with Belle. So he's already done the first part. He's already went to the Edge of Realms where he saw the Belle's sunny life set, right? And and now he just has to fulfill the second part. So the rest of the season will be Rumple. The rest of Rumple's character arc is basically to find the guardian and and sacrifice the darkness to be reunited with Belle. So anyway, and we already kind of know that guardian is Alice. So there you go. So yeah, Alice is the Guardian, and we'll see if Alice gives Rumple his wish. I hope that doesn't make Alice the new Dark One, though. I know it actually isn't. For those who've seen the show all the way to the end, it actually isn't. But this is what I was saying back in the day when I was watching this in 2018, 2017 for the first time. I was like, "Ooh, I hope Alice doesn't become the Dark One." It made me think, is Alice going to be the Dark One? I was questioning it. I don't think it would have been a good idea. She yeah, for certain reasons. She's kind of a special person, um, because she's topsy turvy, kind of Alice. She's not quite as normal as everyone else. She's kind of unique in her own way, and I would hate to put her through that torture because she's just a sweet, special woman. Um, so yeah. Anyway, um, moving on to the next episode. It's a Tiana centered episode. So you've seen Disney's Princess and the Frog, right? But you never seen Once Upon a Time's take on Princess and the Frog. Now, yes, in the fairy tale, the princess kisses the frog. He turns into a prince, and they live happily ever after. Disney does the twist where Tiana kisses the frog, and she turns into a frog, right? And then they have to spend the whole movie trying to figure out how to turn themselves human. So Once Upon a Time does have that kind of twist, but they have another twist up their sleeve. This doesn't follow the same plot as the Disney Princess and the Frog. While Disney does their own twist on the fairy tale, Once Upon a Time does a double twist. They take Disney's twist, but they also do a double twist on top of that. For starters, Tiana is not the one who turns into a frog, but there are two frogs. It does involve a princess turning into a frog, but Tiana is not one of them. So anyway, there's a lot of plots, twists, and turns. Even Dr. Facilier is in here. We don't see the gods that he deals with, but we do see Facilier. So anyway, who's ready for Princess and the Frog? Once Upon a Time's take on the fairy tale, not Disney. Once Upon a Time's take on the fairy tale, which I guess is also Disney. But anyway, live action Princess and the Frog. You've seen cartoon, but have you seen a live action Princess and the Frog? Ready? We're gonna start the episode. 43 minutes, 56. 43 minutes, 56 seconds. Season 7, episode 5. If you have Disney Plus, 43 minutes, 56 seconds. Otherwise, just pause before it says previously on Once Upon a Time. And together we'll start with previously on Once Upon a Time. And when I push 0, everyone push play. 3, 2, 1, 0. There we go. I was doing a fast count because I just wanted to start. There hasn't been a previously on Once Upon a Time at all tonight. A lot of these episodes just went right into it. We also haven't seen the witch from last week. Remember how last week we ended with a new witch in town? She didn't show up in the last episode we just watched. Now it's nice to kind of see her again. Wow. There's our witch. There's our new wicked witch. Except she's not from Oz. She's a different kind of witch. Mhm. Oh, mhm. It looks like this, witch knows a lot about gardening, and just like a weed growing, you have to cut it in order to break it. Yeah, if you wanna break Lucy's belief, you have to cut it. In order to bring Anastasia, the other stepsister who's dead, in order to bring her back from the dead, Lucy has to give up her belief in fairy tales completely, and the only way to do that is to cut the roots, just like a plant. Great parable. Yeah, that's funny. So I don't usually get a lot of comments on YouTube, and I'm just there's this one comment. Who are we talking to? We're talking to the Once Upon a Time show. We're watching season 7, episode 5, and I'm just doing my commentary on it, talking about things that are happening in the show. It is kinda sad that Belle died, though. On Facebook, it tells me how long ago the comment was put, but it doesn't tell me on YouTube. I'm gonna guess this was during the Belle episode. But anyway, yes, I'm checking the comments. Nothing on Facebook, unfortunately, except for my welcome to the live stream comment. Looks like, um, it looks like the stepmother here, I wanna say Gisela, but no. Um, Lady Tremaine, Victoria Belfry seems to want to destroy not just Lucy's belief, but, um, in smaller terms, she thinks she can destroy Lucy's belief by destroying, Tiana's beignet store. You know what's funny? Tiana always wanted to own a restaurant, right? Right? In fairy tale land, our Princess Tiana from once upon a time did not wanna own a restaurant. She wanted to rule a kingdom like her father. So that's different. Different dreams. But it's funny, they wanted to reference the Disney film, and so in her curse life as Sabine, now I know her name. I remember last week I didn't remember Tiana's curse name. I know it now because Lady Tremaine just said it. Sabine, she owns a restaurant. The curse gave her a restaurant. All this time when Tiana was trying to fall in love with Naveen in the Disney movie and ask him to give her her restaurant, all this time of falling in love with Naveen and trying to get her wish to come true, and all that money she's been earning over the years to get her restaurant, like her dad always wanted her to. She could have just cheated by not giving into the Shadow Man, but cheated by casting a curse and cursing herself to be a restaurant lady. Honestly, like giving her her own restaurant in the curse. Like honestly, of course, when Princess and the Frog came out once upon a time, did not exist yet. So I mean, maybe in the Disney movie, there's no such thing as a dark curse taking everyone to the real world, but um, honestly, that's what this curse gave her. She owns her own restaurant, and Victoria Belfry, who's Lady Tremaine, Cinderella's stepmother, wants to burn Tiana's restaurant down. That will be sad when it happens. It's nice to see Tiana and her mother. That's the first. Never met Tiana's mother in the show yet until now. They have to do they have to do a palace yard sale because they don't have enough money anymore to keep their wealth and loyalty as royals. They don't have the enough money to keep their title, and so they're gonna drop to commoners if they don't pay off their debts. And the only way to do that is to sell castle merchandise. And if they don't sell enough money today, they have to sell the castle. That'll be sad. Tiana's about to lose her crown and about to lose her kingdom and about to lose her line of the throne because they're losing money. Remember at the beginning of the season, Henry Rogers and Ronnie are teaming up to take Victoria Belfry down. In case you forgot, because of the distraction of Rumple and Belle's storyline. And we are now in a Tiana episode where we get right back at it, and they're going to find a way to stop Victoria. So, anyway, but she is trying to buy up everything, and they're going to stop her. First attempt of stopping was when Ronnie chose to keep the bar back in episode 1. Ronnie has seen this story before. Uh, Someone falls in love with a stepsister of an evil stepmother, and it doesn't end very well. Yeah, Henry. I mean, I think you would be great with Ivy, but I guess people in Seattle disagree with me. Ronnie wants you to go with Jacinda. Mm, Too bad the people outside of the show didn't want that, but that's what the writers went with. Whoa! So you took all you know how everyone has emergency money just in case something bad happens. Sabine just used all her emergency money, all her emergency funds to buy a flower, and with high hopes that it will pay off. Like that's a big risk. You normally don't want to make a move like that unless you know for sure that it's going to work. Huh? What the heck? What a symbol? Huh? I'm trying to find a missing girl. Remember? Captain Rogers is trying to find a missing girl. I mean, Sabine has crazy schemes that fail to work in the past. It looks like, and she thinks this one's gonna not be like those. Well, we'll see. Wow, Sabine is like an aunt. Sabine loves Lucy so much. She's like an aunt to Lucy. Yeah, Jacinda and Sabine are like sisters. They are roommates after all. They are like sisters. Never thought you'd see Cinderella and Princess Tiana work together, right? To build a restaurant and cook beignets, just like the movie. Back in flashback, Tiana's trying to save her kingdom that her father built. Her father was a prince, but now that he's dead, he's Tiana and her mother are losing wealth and royalty title status. That's creepy. All those people who want to hog over you, that's creepy. Well, that will get them off your. I'll get them off your back. I mean, just have Dr. Facilier jump into the picture to scare off the his servant so that Tiana could come visit him. Tiana's going to Dr. Facilier for help about her kingdom. I don't know if I would trust him. After all, we know he turns people into frogs and he makes deals with people on the other side in the other life. In the Disney version, it takes place in real world London, and it's surprising that Once Upon a Time puts Princess and the Frog in a fairy tale land, unlike the Disney version. How does Dr. Facilier know that Tiana's looking for a prince to save her kingdom? Wow. Never how all magic comes with a price. Dr. Facilier wants to give Tiana a prince, and he has nothing to pay him. So what? He's letting a discount. He's letting Tiana get a prince for free. Okay, that's not like him. He's watching the rest of the season. He's more evil and makes deals almost as Rumple used to. All things come with a price. Even in the Disney movie, he makes a deal with Naveen and his traveling companion. I mean, wow. Ivy and her stepmother are not. I mean, Ivy and her mother are not getting along pretty well. I mean, she was a mean mother to begin with, though. I mean, she's hiding something. We know it's a evil witch locked in a tower, but um, yeah, it's about time for Ivy to find that out. I mean, yes, in this cursed life, Ronnie is not Henry's mother, but in another life, she is. So you should listen to her. Take Jacinda on a date, get back to writing, and give thanks where thanks is due. Uh-oh, Ivy sent a message, and looks like Ronnie's gonna respond back. She said, "I'm coming," and then she deleted the messages so that Henry would never see them. Wow, watching someone make beignets is not an everyday TV show. Wow, way to go, Sabine. Nothing attracts a town like a crowd. That's a good advice. Lucy's smart to lie to her grandmother so she could be with her mom. That's a good logo for their company, right? A new official logo, little fireflies or whatever Lucy was talking about. Well, don't speak too soon. Don't Don't jinx yourself. Feels like you're heading in the right direction, buying a food truck, going from festival to festival, town to town. Be careful, be careful. Just because you think you're heading in the right direction doesn't mean you are. Oh, Tiana's going to a tavern. I wonder why. Find a prince. What's the prince doing in there? Anyway, why don't you look at that? True. All ladies should have respect and manner. Doesn't matter if they're royal or not. Go away, drunker. Robert. Prince Robert. Not Prince Naveen. Where's Prince Naveen? He does show up in the show later on, by the way. Tiana doesn't fall in love for this Prince Robert. Prince Naveen! Mhm. Oh, so Victoria Belfry's gonna try the beignet. See if it tastes good. She's being the evil that she is. She was hoping it tasted bad and that it was that no one was gonna like it, but because she likes it means everyone's gonna like it, and she's gonna do whatever it takes to ruin people's dreams in Seattle. You know, mhm. Oh dear. Victoria Belfry wants Naveen's restaurant to burn and burn down to the ground, apparently. Ah, Victoria Belfry, she wants to ruin everyone's life, even if she can't buy everything and people are standing up to her. She just wants to, ruin it in other ways, like burning their restaurant down and taking over the city. They'll essentially, someone will stop her. Uh-huh. Hook is talking to a criminal who is locked behind bars for tuckling and rustling someone. I can't remember where. Anyway, Hook, yeah, Officer Rogers thinks he knows something about the missing girl. While business is on fire? Yeah, don't be literal. Don't be literal. You don't want it to burn down. Someone must have poured gasoline and then threw and on top of fire and causing the whole thing to burn down. One of Victoria's coworkers. Come on. I mean, she didn't want the emergency money to get burned, so she decided to take it with her. That was smart. When really, when the building's on fire, you get out. You don't try to take things with you. You just get out. So the one thing from the Disney movie that they kept is Tiana's father served in the war, and he died in war, and that's what happened in the Disney movie, and when Tiana was a little kid, and that's what happened in Once Upon a Time. Princess and the Frog is one of the movies that Disney Plus cycles through. I told you about their live streaming channels. There's one on Once Upon a Time, 24/7 live stream on Once Upon a Time. 24/7 Disney Classic stream started shortly after that. And Princess and the Frog, they don't do every single Disney movie, but one of the ones they do a lot is Princess and the Frog. I've seen it a couple times on that live stream. Anyway, that's not Prince Naveen. That's Prince Robert. Uh oh. Hmm. Yeah. Tiana's upset that you stole her family heirloom. This is why when you press a woman, you don't steal their family heirlooms. Otherwise, you have no chance with them. Yeah, you just turn the other cheek and move on. Too bad we never get to see Tiana's father in the show, though. At least in the Disney movie, we got to see him at the beginning. We never get to see her father in Once Upon a Time. Or a live action version of Tiana's father would be cool. Yep. Embrace your father's love. You can save your kingdom with or without your father, or you don't even need a kingdom. You can live poor lives as long as you look after each other. Being rich is not important in life. Money is not important. Family and lover. Wow, Tiana gave up all her emergency money to help, Sabine. To help, I mean, Sabine gave all her all her emergency money to Jacinda to help, give her about 10 months worth of finding a new job and getting stable again. Because she lost her cluckety cluck cluck job, and she started working at Tiana's place, and now I mean, at Sabine's place, and now they were good best friends, roommates, and now they broke up, so how sad. How they oh, man, imagine you see a mother and an aunt fight, and you're Lucy trying to get them, "No, I love my aunt. Don't do this. Don't disown her." Yeah, I doubt Jacinda will find another roommate like Bean. She's the best Bean Tiana we've had. This is the tower that the witch is locked up in, and she's gone, thank goodness. Someone left a tea. It is a strange place. It's like the middle of a machine attic. Yeah, what's in there? A picture? A picture just hanging? It's like Victoria Belfry wanted them to find that picture. Hey, look at that 740 right there. Wonder what that reference is. There was a 740 on one of the machines. Someone wrote a marker 740. Is this 740? No, it can't be 740 right now. It's 8:20. Haha, that would've been funny watching that episode and it's like 7:40. Sometimes grow up. What are you talking about? Bad guys win. Sometimes bad guys win. Don't give up. Happy endings are possible. Yep. Even Tiana, there are even some battles that Tiana can't fight. Sure, sure. You can get a restaurant of your own, but when it burns down, you can't get another one. You don't have any savings saved up for a new one. That'd be a great Princess and the Frog 2 sequel. What if someone burns down her restaurant and Naveen is broke and no longer a rich boy? And how would Tiana get her restaurant back? Honestly, that would be a good sequel. And then somehow the Shadow Man escapes from the afterlife and comes back, and there you go. And he gets revenge on Naveen and Tiana. There's Princess and the Frog 2. They should make a movie sequel, honestly. So plot twist. Sorry, I've been silent for a while. Um, Plot twist. Dr. Facilier was already trapped. Remember how he wasn't before? I mean, he was trapped in his debts, honestly, and he didn't pay them back in the Disney movie, so he got trapped inside a monster. But anyway, he was trapped, and he used a family heirloom of Tiana's, from her father. He used a ruby to escape from the gods of the afterlife or something. Anyway, that would be a good twist for the second movie as well. What if a giant ruby got Facilier out of the monster world? I don't know, and then he was free again. That would be cool. Debtless but free. Anyway, so yeah, now it looks like Dollar Facilier was trapped, but now that he's free, he's able to do whatever he wants, and he's ready to use a. You know how Doctor Facilier kills people? He uses a stuffed doll and puts a needle in it. That's how he kills people for some reason. They brought that to once upon a time. You no longer have to pull out hearts, I guess. Anyway, Doctor Facilier was about to use a pin doll to kill Tiana, and well, he didn't kill her. He didn't poke a needle through here. He just cut a little piece of thread and just to warn her, and it kind of put her in pain. And anyway, voodoo dolls, it's weird. Before he could actually kill her by putting a needle through her, um, Tiana got the upper hand and escaped with the frog that the commoner wanted. The prince, that prince who we found out wasn't a prince after all. So Tiana will have to find some other way to save her kingdom. Back to present day, though. I am still talking about flashback, and you've already came back to the flashback. Present day, Jacinda felt bad for kicking out her roommate and decides to make amends by buying her a food test and for asking for an apology for not believing in her dreams. So anyway, let's see. Another comment just got here. Let's see. Hi, Kitty. We have boyfriend culminated, and I live you at Big Bang and Hot Kids and Young Miami, and I love you and have kidding together. So happy Valentine. What? What? So there's a comment on YouTube. I don't know what that means. It's weird. I got a top fan. Someone commented top fan on here. So cool. Got one top fan showing us that emoji. Anyway, interesting. All right. Anyway, so plot twist for Princess and the Frog here. This is the plot twist I was talking about. Um, so obviously we just talked about how Tiana saved the lady frog from Dr. Facilier, and when the commoner gave True Love's kiss, they both turned into frogs. Tiana thought they were both going to be human, like the story, but plot twist, nope, they're both frogs, and they're all living happily ever after in the frog swamp. And Tiana's just smiling as they're splashing and having fun. So yes, same story. The princess turns into a frog after kissing the prince, who was already a frog. They both become frogs, but it isn't the princess isn't Tiana; it's somebody else. And so then they live happily ever after as frogs, because we know in the Disney movie they actually do turn back into humans. But anyway, plot twist for Disney for once one time. It doesn't end happily ever after for like Disney does all the time. They end as frogs, and it isn't Tiana that stays a frog because she needs to be a human for the obviously the present storyline, right? I mean, if she was a frog in the real world, she wouldn't be able to talk, and she wouldn't. She'd probably be stuck in the jungle or something. She wouldn't be in the city if she was a frog. Oh, that smuggler that was arrested and now got set free. because he was trying to help Rogers with a case. It turns out he whatever missing girl Rogers is looking for. This smuggler is part of that missing of the girl. So I'm like, maybe you should have kept him in jail. Oh yeah, and then oh yeah, Sabine gave Rogers beignets, and they had a good conversation. Anyway. Mm. Lady Tremaine is really, really downsizing her daughter, Gisela. Or, I mean, I guess Victoria is downsizing her daughter, Ivy. It's not looking good. Ivy's kind of hurt. But anyway, she will get revenge on her mother eventually. Wait until the curse breaks. Oh, Ronnie doesn't even remember her son. That's so sad. She doesn't remember having a son, Henry, and living in Storybrooke. She has never owned mayor clothes in her life. Watch the first 6 seasons if you don't remember. Yes, and well, Henry knows what he looked like. The Henry's cursed memories involve him remembering him as a child. So, not in Storybrooke, obviously, fake memories in Seattle as an orphan, whatever, just like Emma. Anyway, Henry, Henry, little boy, he remembers being a little boy, and he knows the boy in the picture is him, but Ronnie doesn't know who. No, that's him. And so, anyway, kind of a little mother son reveal there, but they're looking at the picture and they still don't know that they're mother and son. It's crazy. Giselle's awake. Plot twist. Whoa. Okay. Looks like Drizella's awake. Drizella's awake. So, see, this is what I'm talking about. So, okay, here's how the dark curse works. The person who casts the curse to trap every fairy tale character to our world is the one that keeps their memories. They're not cursed like everyone else. The one who casts the curse, remembers everything, right? That's how Regina and Rumple were the only ones awake in season one. Now, when season seven started, you thought Lady Tremaine was awake. Yeah, that's what you thought. She is kind of awake. She remembers her fairy tale life a little bit, but she doesn't remember everything about her fairy tale life. That's the difference. The thing she doesn't remember was, the things, who actually cast the curse. What happened right before the curse was cast. She just thinks that she cast the curse, but when she really didn't. And that's what they made it without. This is why, unlike the pilot, this is why the first episode of the reboot wanted to trick us a little bit by not showing us who cast the curse and made us think it was the stepmother who casted it. But now we're revealed that it wasn't the stepmother who cast the curse, you know? And so, the question is, who cast the curse, right? Well, look at this. See, we know Rumpel woke up because Alice shot him with a bullet, okay? And he's immortal. That's how Rumpel woke up. The other way people can wake up is through a memory potion. Emma drank one before many, many times in the first 6 seasons. And then, now we never seen Drizella wake up for any reason, She was always awake. So, with Drizella being always awake, makes you think that maybe it was Drizella who cast the curse, right? So there you go. Now we still haven't seen her cast the curse yet. That's still going to be later in the season. But plot be revealed, Drizella is the one who cast the curse. She's the one who's really in charge and just trying to make her stepmother think she is. Just trying to make the stepmother in charge, by making the stepmother think she's in charge when it's really her stepdaughter. So anyway, yes, the saying they say in Once Upon a Time, when the student surpasses the teacher, right? You're a teacher, you're teaching a student, and they suddenly outsmart you. You overtaught them, right? Okay, that's happened many times, even in real life, right? Well, has it ever happened to you where you're a mother or a father or a parent teaching a child, then they outsmart you later in life? Yet you're supposed to be the older and wiser, but for some reason they outsmart you at their evil schemes and stuff. You're an evil parent with an evil child, and the evil child outsmarts you. Normally, it's the evil parent who's in charge, like how Regina was with Henry. Regina was in charge. Henry was just a 10-year-old boy, so that's kind of a bad example. But imagine you're a parent and you have an adult child, right? You're the boss of them, and well, maybe you're not abusive to them, but you are kind of strict and you're kind of mean to them. In the best rude, unabusive way. Suddenly, it's your child who abuses you. That I've seen many sad stories of I've seen many sad stories of parents, who are disrespectful to their children. But to have children be disrespectful of their parents is actually pretty rare. So yes, Giselle is the villain here. It would, more common, a more common sunshine kind of way, or what am I trying to say? A more common. There's a phrase I'm trying to think of. Hang on. A more common basic, like basic's not the word I'm gonna use, but anyway, I'm gonna use it. Basic, the most basic fairy tale would have a stepmother be the villain of the story, but no, the more modern day twisted fairy tale would have the daughter be the villain and try to torture their parents. I mean, we saw it with Cruella. Cruella was the daughter of somebody, and she killed her own mother with Dalmatian dogs. So I mean, yes, Once Upon a Time is known for modern twist and modern, brutal, violent, grim fairy tales that are probably more violent than the Disney cartoons. But anyway, next episode. Let's move on to the next episode. That was a nice Tiana episode. A little twist on Princess and the Frog. Now you know the whole story of Princess and the Frog. Now, yes, it probably would have been better if we had a Prince Naveen in the picture. She will show up later. Princess and the Frog storyline is not over yet. But, now we've gone a little bit here and there. And we got introduced to Dr. Facilier. Anyway. And Tiana, who just lost her restaurant to a fire set by Lady Tremaine. Wow, never imagine a Cinderella stepmother be the villain of a Princess and the Frog movie. And, Dr. Facilier is evil too, but he didn't really do much. I mean, he made a deal with Tiana and threatened to kill her, but that was about it. He didn't do anything, at least not in the real world. Anyway, Dr. Facilier will come back later in the season. Same with, we'll see Naveen eventually. Anyway, Princess and the Frog has finally came to Once Upon a Time. Imagine if they didn't have the reboot and they canceled it after season 6. We would have had no Princess and the Frog. Yep. So anyway. Alright, next episode. I'm gonna push it. It's loading. Okay. Now we're getting a previously on Once Upon a Time. The last couple episodes didn't have a recap. Alright, so 43 minutes and 57 seconds if you have Disney Plus. Otherwise, Make sure you pause it before they say previously. And as we count down, let's all push play right when I say zero. Three, two, one, zero. Wow. This one's called Wake Up Call. It's an Evil Queen based episode. Someone already put a like on this live stream. Yep. We all know that's Henry. We all know that's Henry. That picture of Henry. It's a Rapunzel tower. What? Are we getting tangled? We've had tangled before. We've had African American Rapunzel back in season 3. She was only in one episode, trying to face her fears. Now we're gonna get the Disney version of Rapunzel. Hmm. Whoa, 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 whoa! Poor Ronnie. I hope she wakes up one day and remembers her son. Because that photo of her and Henry is so timeless. It's kind of sad that they don't remember their mother and son. I mean, Henry said it in the first episode. What if I walked through that door and told you I was your son? That would be weird. Yeah, well, little do you know, Ronnie, you are the evil queen, and you're gonna find that out later, sooner rather than later. It's kind of sad. She doesn't know that she's the evil queen. That's what I said in the trailer. Imagine you found out your life is a lie, you know, and you're actually the most evil villain of all time. That's kind of sad. You were a villain, and then you get amnesia and you don't remember, and you just being this nice, characteristic character kind of character. Only when you get your memories back, you remember how evil you were, and it feels sad because you became this good person, and you hate to have your old life come back. Most people would do anything to get their memories back to remember who they are, but not in the evil queen's kind of case. I wouldn't want to remember all my sins, right? Ella and Henry are on the run in the middle of a new enchanted forest, fighting for life. This is after the events of previous episodes. So, I mean, in the first few episodes of the season, Henry's already fell in love with Ella. Regina has already joined her. Emma went back to Storybrooke, and Rumple's here too. So this is after our returning characters from the first 6 seasons made it to the new Enchant Forest. So just so you know, in case you want to know when this flashback takes place, this is after the reliance with Tiana to go stop Lady Tremaine. So you're just on the run, having a fairy tale. I'm pretty sure they stopped Tremaine at this point in the flashback. I'm not sure if they did yet, but I'm gonna guess so. Can't remember where if it's after they defeated Tremaine or before. Oh, so no, they're still in the resistance. They haven't defeated Lady Tremaine. Now, Lady Tremaine was the main villain in flashbacks, but looks like Drizella kind of rose on top right before the curse was cast. That's what we learned at the end of last episode. That is true. Henry's all grown up. He doesn't need his mother around. He doesn't need his mother around all the time. Henry can take care of himself. Yeah. So it looks like this evil witch is not only working for Lady Tremaine, but really going undercover, working Lady for Lady Tremaine to really double crossing her to work with Ivy, Drusilla. Anyway, sorry, just trying to fix my hat or something. Trying to not show my hair because it doesn't look nice at all. Mhm. Drusilla remembers her mother's destruction and evilness. What do you mean she won't be a problem? Oh, Ivy's timeline from Halloween. We're going back to Halloween again? Are you kidding me? I'm going, that is what happened. We lost we lost the distraction of Henry and Ella when we focused on Tiana. And then in the Rumple episode we lost interest in related Tremaine and Ella and Lucy when we were focused on Rumple. So anyway, plots are coming back into full swing. Rumple and don't forget Rogers and the missing girl part. That's been trying to be more focused on as well. Lucy really wants to see the photo really bad. Yeah, it's not fake. That's the thing. That's the whole point of Once Upon a Time. Fairy tales are trapped in the real world, and they all have to try to remember that, and they all have to try to believe in fairy tales and believe in magic. It's real. In a world of Once Upon a Time, it's real. It would be fake here, but not in fairy tale land. Lucy has an idea of breaking the curse. You know it doesn't work. I like her walking it. The way the camera just focused on her like that, walking out of the bar, being so cool. I liked that. That was kind of fun. I like that shot of her walking out of the bar. I'm walking with my hips and or my shoulders and anyway, silly kid. He has a way of waking them up. Wow. Rogers has errands for Rumple to run. Well, what about the lunch in the hospital you just got right there? You don't like that food? Tilly? Tilly? No longer Alice. She went back under the first after the end of Rumple. Anyway, Drunkarine. Wow. Ivy. Well, for this being like days after Halloween, why is Ivy posting about Halloween anyway? How? I mean, I understand making a Halloween post, but it should be on Halloween, not after Halloween. And yeah, I know people who post about how their trick or treating went maybe the morning of, but like this is not the morning of. We had an entire episode in between the Halloween episode and this, and that was this Sabine Tiana episode. So I'm like, this is probably at least a couple weeks after Halloween. Come on, why are you still posting about Halloween? Anyway, So, cursed memories. Now, remember how Henry has a fake wife and daughter that died in a fire? Ronnie's fake memories was trying to adopt a son, and then the adoption agent said she wasn't a good fit mother. Operation Heartbreak. Remember, Henry's always with the opposite agent. Oh, so Ronnie wants Henry to ask Jacinda out on a date, and so this is why Ronnie doesn't want Henry to join her in this Lucy heartbroken mission. Operation Heartbreak. You know how Operation Cobra, Henry always had these operation names for fairy tale characters and breaking the curse. Operation Cobra was the first one. Operation Nightshade or Operation Firebird. Operation Cobra Part 2. Operation Mixtape. Um, Operation Prisoner Gag, right? Remember all those things from seasons 1 through 6? Operation Heartbreak, they wanna break Lucy's heart. Why would you wanna break a little child's heart? If you have a child who believes in fairy tales, I don't know if I would wanna break their heart. I mean, they have to come to terms with what's reality, but, like, when they're a little kid, they can wait. Break it to them when they're a teenager. That's what I would do. Don't don't break their fantasy when they're only 9 or 10 years old. Wait until they're 13. They're gonna try to break Lucy's belief in fairy tales because they believe fairy tales are not real, and they wanted to get Lucy to think that, so she doesn't break the curse. Not their intention. They don't, if they were fairy tale characters and they were not, and they were awoken from the curse, then they would want to break it. But like, the reason for not breaking the curse is because they don't believe in fairy tales, so they don't want Lucy's fairy tale belief to go spiral and have her locked in an insane asylum. Well, I like Regina's clothes here. They're so warrior like. She's not wearing a dress like she is in the promotional photos. She had a red dress in season 7, episode 3. That was the promotional photo for her. Now she's wearing something more roar, more, more soldier, warrior, type. She's gonna try to help Gisela stand up to her mother, which might be a bad thing, knowing that she's a villain in present day. Ugh, this evil witch in a tower is trying to grow something out of dirt and weed. Wow, what is that supposed to do? Is that magic? I mean, she is a witch after all, so whatever she conjures and whatever she plants is magical, but, somehow Ivy was able to, or Drizella, 'cause we know she's awake, Drizella is somehow able to put that little plant put icy juice or plant liquid into a bottle and must be magical. Yeah, I mean, you almost broke Jacinda's heart when you moved on to Ivy. Yeah, well, that was just a one night thing, okay? One night stand or something, whatever. Henry wants to be with you, Jacinda. Let him ask you out on a date. By the way, you're married in fairy tale land, so it will make sense, especially when the curse breaks. A swift driver and a failed rider, so nothing but time, huh? I'd like a job like that. Well, that's good to know. You ask a girl out and they like mixtapes as much as you. That's something you have in common. That's a great way to start. And you're doing a little victory dance. Don't let her see that. Turn it up. Lucinda's gonna turn up the music. They're gonna start their date. Lucy is in her bedroom trying to find a book. How did Ronnie get in here without keys? That's a good question. Exactly. Oh, this is Victoria's room, not Lucy's room. And so you thought it would be in your grandma's closet, huh? Lady Germain. They're not using the evil word. That's funny. She is not evil anymore, so I get that. But she wouldn't love. She wouldn't want to. She would not love to be remembered as the evil queen, though. She would not want to remember that. So I understand her wanting to remember being a queen at least. Gisella's trying to use force, like the Star Wars way of force magic, trying to use force to pick up a rock. I think Luke did the same thing once. Oh no, it's Rapunzel's tower! And they broke a piece off just to fall on Regina. Wow, Drizella used her magic to save Regina's life. Whoa, she does have magic potential. No wonder why she turns evil. Regina, I wouldn't say this. You're giving Giselle ideas. You should shut up. This is what causes everything to begin with, all because Regina said this stuff. You're trying to teach her to use her magic for good, not evil, Regina. Why are you mentioning the dark curse and wanting revenge? Come on. Rumple! We all know he got here to the new enchanted forest, but he hasn't been seen with Regina or Hook. He was you know ran into Alice, and so they don't know that he was here. So this is them finding out that Rumple made it to this realm and to join them with Henry's new story. Now Rumple's already awake. Remember, he woke up just a couple episodes ago. So to for Ronnie to come to Rumple and tell him to look for someone for Regina Mills that adopted a Henry Mills in Maine. I don't know if Reaver would have wanted to figure that out. I think Rumple wants to though because he remembers. Wow, Tilly gives great advice because Hook's trying to find a missing girl, and she only he mentioned everything he knew about her. And Tilly gives him great advice. Look at all this evidence you have. What pieces are you not paying attention to? Look at that, and you might find yourself on a very different path. One that leads to Eloise Gardiner. Can't talk. Hmm. That's funny. Yeah. Rumple, you're trying to be on your best behavior to get back to Belle in heaven. So don't ruin it by getting upset with Regina. Or I guess Ronnie in this case. Hmm. Rumble's on the urge of almost waking Regina up. I mean, yes, she doesn't believe in fairy tales. Just because there was a Regina Mills who adopted a baby boy in Boston doesn't mean fairy tales are real, right? And that could just be a coincidence. So obviously Regina's not going to wake up to that. But since she's still Ronnie is kind of surprised that there was a Regina Mills, and she has no idea it's herself. She has no idea she was once an evil queen. Lady Tremaine. See, true. That is true. That is true. I mean, think about it. Think about this. Drizella. So think about this. Would Regina get away with being queen? And would Regina get away with casting a curse without Cora knowing about it? No. So same thing for Drizella. She can't get away without her stepmother knowing it, without her real mother. It's Cinderella's stepmother, but you know what I mean. Without Lady Tremaine knowing, Drizella can't get away with anything. So, good advice from Rumple. It's nice that they were able to catch up and talk about having a lifetime with Belle and changing for the better. And yes, being good can be painful and inevitable and painful and slow at times, but inevitable. Yeah. Good for you, Rumple. You're choosing the right. Good job. Rumple, doing some catching up with Regina there. Luckily, Regina is the evil queen, right? So she has a magic mirror. I mean, Lana is her real name. Regina is having a hard time teaching Drizella. I mean, you should have never mentioned the dark curse or evil magic. You should have just taught her good magic and never warned her about the bad. It's good to know the evil and the good, but like not knowing Drizella and her character, it was bad to teach her the evil and what was wrong. Because now she's gonna take it as a blessing rather than a warning. I'm surprised Regina just says no. Like, I would have said this. I thought you wanted to help me. I do. This is the wrong way to do it. Like, don't say no. She thinks you're not helping her at all. She thinks you don't want her to help her at all. Regina, just, she just doesn't know how to say the right words. She's the one who caused Drizella to go on her evil dark path, honestly. I know her intention was to turn Drizella towards the light and have a redemption arc, but fortunately that didn't happen. Regina compares her handwriting with the one in Boston. It's the same handwriting. Still not waking up. Still convinced that it's just a coincidence. Man, Regina, I would wake up from the curse by now, thinking, okay, I guess fairy tales are real. Come on. How much evidence do you need? So, by the way, Officer Rogers is breaking into the smuggler who got released from jail into his home, and wow, this is the prince's brother. Remember how Lady Tremaine killed the prince and framed Cinderella for it? Or Ella, I mean, that's her real name. Anyway, it looks like the prince had a younger brother, and Gisela loves the younger brother. Mhm. Plot twist. Wow, Zella used a magical plant to kill the prince's younger brother. The whole royal family's being killed. Even the stepmother is scared of her own child. Like, whoa! Like, usually you'd be scared of the mother. Like, Regina was scared of Cora because of how evil she was. But what a plot twist for the reboot. The daughter is more evil than the mother is. Like, they're both evil in their own right, but Gisella's over the top evil. It was a warning. Regina was not suggesting that you should do a dark curse. It was just a warning. My goodness. Regina, they purposely planted her dialogue like this so that she could accidentally turn Gisela evil. I mean, honestly, I don't think Regina's character would say something like that. Be like, no, I can't help you, and then be like, I casted a dark curse once, but it was bad. No, no, no. Don't say that stuff. Giving her ideas is not a good idea. Oh wow, Gisella's so evil now. She can have him poof in a dark cloud of smoke, just like the evil queen once did. Man, and Regina just keeps making it worse by saying one last thing. By saying heroes can always break curses. You should have left that part out. Then this curse could have easily been broken. But she said she'd find a way to make it hero proof. So did she actually make it hero proof? Let's find out. No wonder the curse can't break right now because it's hero proof. Regi- Regina's about, Ronnie's about to get knocked out. Yes, memory potion. That's what she put in her your drink, Ronnie. You're about to fall asleep and get your memories back. Remember when you drink too much, when you have more than one dose, you get passed out. She only had one dose and she's already passed out, getting all her memories back. All the memories from seasons 1 through 6 and season 7. There you go. That's how season 7 started. There you go. All the memories are coming back. Regina is back. Now they're both. Now we know they're both awake. No magic in the real world. No magic in the real world. Remember, that's what happened the first time the curse was cast. You know, give it a minute. Why did you wake me up? Hey, Regina was about to break the curse and call Henry, but she needs to remember why she can't break the curse. A hero always breaks the curse. Yep, we're gonna find that out, guys. We'll find that out. If the curse breaks, something bad happens to the people she loves. If you had to choose between breaking the curse and saving your loved ones, what would you do? What would you do? You know you're a great teacher when the student surpasses the master. Season 7 tries to top season 1. The reboot tries to top the show by not just casting the curse that traps everyone in the real world. We've already seen that. But casting a curse to trap everyone in the real world with with the consequences of breaking it leads to bad consequences is better than just like being able to break the curse. I mean, there was a thing with the town line, and if you crossed over, bad things would happen. But like that didn't stop the curse from breaking. So, because this is a city and you can't have a town line, breaking the curse, bad things happen, not leaving Seattle. In fact, Lady Tremaine at the beginning of season 7 was trying to kick people out of Seattle. So people are allowed to leave, even if they're cursed. They're allowed to leave, unlike Storybrooke, but they just can't break the curse. That's the twist. Because if they break the curse, something bad happens to the people they love. That would be a tough choice. Would you rather be cursed for the rest of your life or have every person in your love life die? That would yeah, I would rather forget who I am. Good tough choice though, right? Forget everything about your life or lose everyone you love. So now Regina's on the task of stopping Jacinda and Henry from falling in love because if they do, bad things happen. That is true. Henry's not the kid who left Storybrooke. He's a full-aged adult. He's 47. He's middle-aged. Henry is. He looks exactly like Jared Gilmore. He was perfectly casted to be Henry. Yes. Henry can take care of himself, but he's always going to need his mother. Yeah. We know Regina never goes back to Storybrooke because she's in Seattle running a bar. So, I mean, no way she goes back. Made sense for Emma. Made sense for Belle, except she doesn't go back. She dies. Um, Rumple and Regina need to stay here. I mean, they could actually. No, this would not be a plot hole. They could have Regina go back to Storybrooke and then change her mind. There's a loophole. She comes back right before the curse is cast, and that would make sense. Yeah, he needs Henry around. Otherwise, without Henry, Regina doesn't know how to be a good queen. Oh, poor Regina, looking at the photo of young Henry. She misses little kid Henry. She misses raising him and watching him grow up. And Regina's now awake. Last time he told Henry to go on a date with Jacinda, last time he went, she was cursed and she was Ronnie. She wanted him and Jacinda to be together, but now he regrets her decision to hooking them up. She should have let her stay with Ivy all along because now she knows she can't have Henry share Julo's kiss and she has to try to break him up. Imagine you're a matchmaker and you try to get your daughter in love with a man and then you just found out that she'll die if she falls in love with this man. And so what a regret that would be, right? Just hook them up in the first place. Just like Emma did. Henry was talking to Ronnie about how growing up in the system and how he was never adopted, and he wanted to make a story similar to that. And Emma was an orphan, So that's what he wrote. That is not what happened in real life. Henry was never an orphan. He always had a mother. He always had a father. But in his first life, he was an orphan. That's great fake memories from Henry. You know what's cool? When the curse breaks, you still remember your fake life, but you don't remember your real life when you are cursed. That's the whole point of it. Yeah, well, it's so sad for Regina not to tell Henry that he's her mother, because now that Regina's awake and no longer cursed, she remembers, okay, now it's playing credits. So that wraps up. But anyway, before we end the show tonight, um, so Regina, poor Regina, she's having it rough, having a really rough time, and because it used to be where they didn't know they were mother and son, but now she knows that Henry's her son, but Henry doesn't know that's her mother. And so that's what now, and it makes it even sadder because she's awake, but Henry's not, and she has to try to keep him. She has to try to keep her son away from Cinderella, because otherwise something bad will happen. And so anyway, as much as she was trying to get them together, now she has to pull them apart. It doesn't make sense for her character after putting so much work into getting them together, even put setting them up on a date. Now the date's over, and she's like, "Ah, why did I do that? Now I have to break them up." Man, man, she's so sad not to tell Henry that who she really is. But despite keeping that in, she's grateful to get to know him. She's grateful to get to know cursed Henry, and still be part of his life, even if she's no longer his mother. But it's kind of funny. Henry wanted, his cursed life makes so much sense. Like honestly, Emma's. See, here's the difference. When Emma was in the foster system, it was real life. It wasn't cursed memory. She wasn't even cursed. Snow White put her in a wardrobe. Remember? So her orphan life was real. Henry's is fake. But imagine his fake life was real. That probably would have been a better story for Emma. Maybe instead of a Bell's Bonds person, she wanted a family so bad, she wrote a fairy tale book about it. And she was wanting a mom so bad, she wrote two moms for himself in a book. I mean, honestly, I'm doing the same thing. I never published it or anything, but I wrote a movie script about myself and my family. And so, anyway, I'm kind of like Henry, except mine's okay. Mine's science fictional, but it's not a fairy tale. It doesn't involve fairy tale characters. But anyway, my book, the one I wrote, and it's not based on fake memories. I'm not a fairy tale character. I can tell you that. Mine's involves time travel and a story of going back in time. My family has some heartbreaking family wounds that never officially healed in the 1980s and 1990s. I always thought, what if I went back in time and did some of that healing? Like, honestly, that's what my movie's about. But like Henry's book is just about putting himself in a fairy tale and giving himself a family. I already have one. I just wanted to make a movie about me time traveling to the past to be part of my family in the past, of a family I'm already part of in the present. Anyway, but I am similar to Henry. I am also a writer. I did write a story about myself as well. So I think out of all the characters in Once Upon a Time, I would relate to Henry a lot because of we're both writers in a sense. I'm also an actor as well, so that would relate to all the actors in Once Upon a Time. But as far as fairy tale character, as far as their characters go, no one in Once Upon a Time is an actor. I don't remember them doing a stage play in an episode before. So anyway, but yeah, I think if I had to choose a character I related to the most, it would be Henry. So anyway, so sad Regina can't tell Henry the truth. But yeah, that's where the season is going forward. Regina trying to separate Ella and Henry apart. But it won't be easy, especially since she's a redeemed, reformed character and she doesn't want to play evil schemes on him. Anyway, uh, well, episode's over, and let's see, episode's over. Did I miss anything else as I was talking? What happened before that scene? Oh, uh, Regina always needing Henry in her life, in her life. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that was the flashback. Okay, so anyway, that's just how the episode ended. Not a big cliffhanger. Just Regina and Henry bonding. But anyway, little does Henry know this wasn't their first bond. But anyway, um, we're gonna end the live stream now. Sorry, I'm not supposed to talk afterwards. Our new theme for this live stream is to watch the show, talk as we watch it. When the show ends, we end the live stream. We don't talk 15 minutes afterwards. So I apologize for doing that. Luckily, we've talked in between episodes, so with the show ending at 9:22, I've only talked for 5 minutes. So we're gonna live stream now. Last week's live stream was 2 hours and 26 minutes. This is 2 hours and 27 minutes, so it's a little bit longer than last week, but we're gonna end it here. So see you next week. Next week, look forward to a Tangled Alice in Wonderland episode. So we go Rapunzel into Alice and back to Rapunzel again. So it's a big Rapunzel tangled web of Once Upon a Time, with a little bit of Alice in Wonderland in the middle. So look forward to that next week. And until then, God be with you till we meet again. As always, I'll end Facebook first. Bye, y'all. And now that Facebook's over, I hope you enjoyed the live streams. For everyone watching on YouTube, have a great night.